Right, there's no one here. I'm on my own. Where is everyone? I was waiting for David, but he's not coming, so sucks. Don't know what to do. All right, I'm going to start anyway. We'll have a look at this. Gary, good morning. I couldn't tell that you're here. It doesn't say. Concurrent viewers 0. I'll show you what I see. Look, this is what I see on my screen. So I literally have no idea. $505. I was up to 500 yesterday, and now I'm down to 499. I was really excited. I was thinking to myself, wow, 500. And it was now at 499. How annoying. SLERF. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's have a look at SLERF. Go straight into SLERF, huh? Forget about Bitcoin. Who cares? Let's look at SLERF. Well, breaking long-term trend. Yep, absolutely breaking long-term trend. Pretty amazing, SLERF. So it could either go up or down and up, and it just went up. So that was pretty neat. As soon as we put in the higher high, little back test on the trend line, and it pushed up even further. So I'd say that was pretty good. That was fun. Let me just have a look at all this. Let me just delete all this stuff. It's all irrelevant now. What else did I have from yesterday? You know, I deleted a lot of stuff. I usually keep it. You miss your TP on your long by 002. Was your TP somewhere here? Forever bottom. Haven't even launched NFT yet. I hedged here yesterday when I saw it. So I'll give you a trick, Gary. If you ever see the price, if you have an area of interest, like a really important area, so obviously for me, this was an important area, which I mentioned yesterday. And the reason why it's an important area is because you have a untapped daily level, a level that hasn't been traded through, with a higher time frame fib level. So you have quite a strong area of confluence. Whenever you, and also the other thing we had was a swing failure. So I didn't mark it off, but you don't need to mark it off to see. They're pretty easy to see. You had a swing failure there as well. So if you ever see the price go through a level just like that, as though it doesn't exist, that's a sign to take profit or to hedge. Yeah, because you're never going to get that. It's very rare to get that, to get a situation where the price would just keep on going and just ignore it. Yeah, I've never really seen it happen, to be honest with you. It probably can happen because everything can happen in crypto. As soon as I saw that, I looked at the charts. I saw that there was no test, there was no resistance, there was nothing. And then I saw a swing failure too, and I just hedged. I didn't even think about it. I just hedged. Bam. And I didn't even set a stop limit or stop loss at the peak, simply because I knew that the price wasn't just going to ignore this level. And naturally what it usually does is ignores it in the first instance. And so a lot of people who are thinking to themselves, oh my God, this is it. This is the moon. we're going to the moon, the moon, moon, moon. But actually, that's your indicator. You know, that's your signal. When you get those thoughts, then you have to hedge. When you start getting those kind of delusions. But you put your stop limit, take profit at 0.02 away. So looking at the high here, the high was 3282. So yours was at 0.33 rather. So here. Yeah, okay. So you're trying to get the little SR flip going on the bottom of these candles. Yeah, it's a bit wider. I think you could have just put it over this wick. Like when you're thinking about this next time, I think it would have made sense to just take the liquidity from above this wick in the first instance, just in case you get a swing failure. So you always have to think of the possibility of a swing failure. And if you really want to capture your profit, like if you want to, like you don't without hesitation, then you'll even the front run the pivot and put it even lower, not higher. So it's a combination of where do you put it, and then the other thing you can do is you could put a little bit here. You can put, you know, you don't have to just put it all there. You can have, oh, okay, I'll have it. I'm going to put a little bit. Let's take some there, take some there. You know, going to scale out a little bit. Or hedge. You don't actually have to you don't actually have to stop take profit. You can just hedge. Yeah. But I mean, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the charts. You probably saw this on my Twitter yesterday. Now that we're talking about SLERF, I had a pretty busy day on Twitter yesterday. I'll show you why. It's pretty exciting, actually. I don't know. I posted my SLERF video, which is basically the SLERF section, which I've cut out into a small video. Yeah, so it's basically the live stream. And look, SLERF Soul. He writes, "Follow this man right now." Look at that. How cool is that? And naturally, I got a lot of people followed me. Amazing, huh? So I got a lot of from, I guess they're all from SLERF. Look, the SLERF guys. Look at that. Look at all these followers. That's so cool. So if you're watching this, SLERF Soul, appreciate that. I'll continue doing SLERF. Oh, thank you, Baze. Appreciate it. Well, look, I'm only going to be honest. I'm not going to lie, or try not to anyway. If I see something bearish, I'm going to say it. If I see something bullish, I'm just going to say it. Okay. And I'm not always right. You know, everyone always, it's all subjective, most part. And we're just going to try our best to analyze the charts and see if we can find good areas of resistance and support, and maybe that's going to help us trade a little bit better. Oh, you got booted for fudding the price. Oh shit, sorry man, that sucks. All right, let's just dive in. Okay, so first things first, let me just quickly update the volume profile. Let me just hide all of this stuff. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm just going to also, I don't always do it, but I'm just going to have a look at HTX and Radium as well, just to see if there's any divergence in the data. I just want to see if I can fully analyze this and see if I can find anything else interesting. Volume profile first. I'm using the Bybit derivatives perpetual contract. Volume levels, no real changes to the volume profile on Bybit. While I'm here, I'm just going to pull this up. Let me just pull my HTX up. Let me just quickly have a look at the profile on HTX as well. I just want to see if there's any changes on that either. This is the HTX chart. $2225, is it the same? Roughly. It's roughly the same. Point of control here is 419, that's about the same. And 604. 419 is about the same. 614. The value area high on the HTX is slightly higher. Pretty much the same. So for all intents and purposes, you could argue that it's the same. I wouldn't really stress so much over those minuscule differences. I think you should be careful with HTX. I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, let me just do a volume profile on Radium as well. Just, I know Radium's slightly different. You know, looking at this chart on Radium, it's really like, this looks really healthy. I don't know, people may not see it. You have your launch and you have this extended consolidation period. You've not been able to get down to the launch price, which is 2 cents. Sorry, not 2 cents. Yeah, 2 cents. And effectively what you've got is this prolonged consolidation period. The price is coiling up. What you can see here, it's a short time frame version of what I'm seeing on the higher time frame version of the other token that I always analyze, which is TRVL. This is a kind of a compressed version of that. And effectively what you have is a spring. Yeah, the price comes up and it kind of springs and it's got this kind of coiling up effect. Yeah, you see it a lot in crypto, and eventually that leads to an explosive move eventually. Okay, just an observation. Okay, where's this fixed range profile? Let me just have a look at the volume on Radium. Okay, so this is interesting. So you see on Radium, the volume, the value area low is at about 40 cents, just over 40 cents. The point of control is very high at about 81.5. And the value area high is high up as well, 993. This basically, what this is telling me is that there's a lot of volume at higher prices on Radium, probably because a lot of people were buying, and it's going to actually be quite difficult to easily pass through these levels without clearing the volume, the liquidity that's been trapped in the price coming down. So naturally someone has bought at 80 cents or 81, whatever, and ever since they bought somewhere here at the end of March, they've been in negative equity. Yeah, you see that they've always been underwater, and unless they've sold and bought back lower or improved their position or did something about their trade, they're going to be trapped. And I talk about this a lot. Naturally speaking, when the price returns to higher prices, this liquidity has to be untrapped. And to untrap liquidity, not only do you have to trade through the price, you need the volume to untrap it, because you're naturally going to get sell pressure. Yeah, so you need more volume to overcome the sell pressure at these higher prices. So for the first area of interest on Radium is the value area low, and that, not surprisingly, coincides with our point of control on Bybit and HTX. And then the next level of interest is 81.6. So let me just have a look at that. So we're looking at about 40.5, 40.6 and 81.6. So let me just add those two levels. which one am I using now? E. Right. So that's slightly lower than our actual range point of control, and that is the radium value area low. And then we've also got the radian point of control, and that is 80.6. It's quite high up. Okay. Right. I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. Apologies. Take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes nature calls. And you just have to do it. Okay, let's continue. So I think you can't ignore it. Yeah, you can't ignore those levels, and naturally you can clearly see that the radian value area low and our buy bit or range point of control are in a very similar location. That's something to bear in mind. Now we've broken out from this trend line, which is what I wanted to see. I'm going to delete these other ones now because they're not relevant, this one and this one. And so we have our outer trend line now that's been broken. That's a very important line because that's from the launch, and we can see that it's been tested a few times, and we've just had this kind of breakout moment after we put in a higher low here, literally by 100th of a cent. The price was not able to make a lower low. I always find higher lows really bullish, even though most of the time I want the liquidity to be cleared. In this circumstance, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to see a higher low. It means the price has just basically failed to make a lower low. This is too much demand at that level to prevent the price from going down any further. And naturally, the price is always searching for liquidity. And there was enough liquidity there to hold a higher price. Basically, that's what this means. It means there was enough liquidity to hold a higher price. Sometimes you'll see swing failures, And while that also indicates a reversal, often with swing failures, you'll also go down to test it again. You'll get a second test or a third test. And while with this kind of situation, we may in the future go down. Even though I said the bottom is in, the reality is no one knows. Yeah, crypto is unbelievably volatile. I think it could be. I think the circumstances for a bottom are good. We've cleared up the volume gaps in this price expansion. We've come down to clear up this low, and we've come back to test this daily level. So we've done what was needed to sort the balance or the imbalance here. But naturally, every time you do that, you also create new problems for the price. And so naturally, when you look at the price now, again, we've created volume gaps. You have to bear that in mind. Yeah, you can't just ignore it just because we've sprung out of this low and it looks extremely bullish right now. Just be mindful that we've created gaps. There's gaps there. There's a gap there. We've created gaps. There's probably, I can't see, I'd have to zoom in, but I can clearly see here that there's two obvious gaps. Yeah. Price generally speaking doesn't like gaps in the market, and so I'm not saying it's going to happen because I don't know, okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if the price suddenly in the future decides to come down and clear those gaps, to fill those gaps. Yeah, and you just always have to have that in your mind. Yeah, that just because something is looking bullish, yeah, sometimes people maybe don't take profit, or they think this is it, this is the moment, this is what we've been waiting for, no more down, always up. But the balance in the market must be always maintained. And if sometimes you find imbalances where there's more sellers than buyers and there's gaps, the price will go head right back down to fill those gaps. Now, that might not happen today or tomorrow, but you never know. The price can do strange things at strange times, and you have to be prepared for that. There's a lot of gaps to the upside too. So I mean, that's why I'm quite bullish on this in the medium term, because I think all those gaps have to be filled too. Yeah, anyone who's in some kind of leverage short position from the absolute highs, they're going to be punished too eventually. But at the moment, obviously, I'm contemplating where we are now. Not really, my attention isn't on up there. Okay, we've broken out this trend line and we've had a pretty good impulsive move. I'm not crazy about the volume yet. Yeah, that's something else to bear in mind. We had a really good volume on this break, so I'm okay with that. So, but with the continuation, it's steady, but it's not like here. Yeah, it's not like this volume here. So we know that the price, this token has the potential to put in high amounts of volume, and I want to see how this volume continues. I want to see how this profile continues. Yeah, and obviously it's not as much as here, so I want to see like what happens next. There's some observations. That's all I'm doing. I'm just observing some things. We've cleared this high volume node, so let me just mark that off as well. And so naturally, these high volume nodes can always act as support when the price comes back to test them. So it's about there. Okay, so let me just clear this up. We have our volume levels, we have our trend lines. Where's our higher time frame levels? Let me have a look at those. So we've come into this daily level. We're finding resistance there. I did think we would probably quickly go through this one. It wouldn't offer much support and resistance, and you see it has not offered much resistance, and I did think that that one would probably offer a little bit of resistance, and it has. And the reason why is because of this confluence with this higher time frame fib level, which is the 236. Now the way I've drawn that is from the buy bit pivot high to the buy bit low. I'm not going and trying to look at the different exchanges right now based on fibs, even though I could. Actually, you could also go to Radium and you can draw some kind of fib retracement from the 2 cent launch all the way to the Radium high. That will also give you some levels, but I'm not crazy about those. I'm not crazy about this chart, and I think the reason why is because I think because a large portion of the volume now is on Bybit, and so volume really matters when you're charting. You need to go to the chart with the most volume because that's the most balanced data available in terms of the volume with respect to the way the price moves. So we're coming into resistance now. We've taken the liquidity from that pivot. We've changed market structure, or we've confirmed a change from bearish. No, have we? Not yet. I don't think so. Let's have a look. So we have, let's just have a look at the market structure quickly. So I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame. So this is clearly a lower low. Let's just go all the way up here, actually. Be easier to start from the top. High, low. High, high. High, low. High, high. Low, low. Lower, high. Lower, low. Lower, high. Low, low. Lower, high. Lower, low. Higher, high. Lower, low. So actually we still have to go up there on the 4-hour time frame. So look at this. Higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, high, high, higher, low, higher, high, low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, low, lower high. If that was a higher high. Oh wait, maybe there was a change here. Hold on. That was actually the higher high there. That's the difference. That was the higher high. So this became the higher low. Higher high. Higher low. Higher high. High, low, high, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. That's better. Lower, high, low, low, lower, high, low, low, high, high. Okay, perfect. So that is our higher high. Sorry, I had to go through all of that because you have to just It's trickier. You could all, if you make one mistake, then you're not analyzing it correctly. So you just have to go through it and just make sure it's all correct. Effectively, when it comes to market structure, I'm just going from the high to the low, from the high to the low, from the high to the low. If it's not making a high or a new high or a new low, I'm ignoring it. Okay, because you got intermediary highs and lows, they're irrelevant. You want the new high or the new low, and you take it from the new high to the new low, or to the new low to the new high. So actually this was the high to beat. We've actually taken out the high. So this, and actually this was the high to beat, this one here. So that was on higher high. We've made a higher high now. We haven't put in a higher low to make another higher high. And this is on the 4-hour time frame. So technically the bulls have done what was needed to be done in the first instance, which is make a higher high. Yeah, after putting a lower low, a lower high to a lower low, the bulls had to put in a higher high, and effectively they had to take out that high, which happened. Okay, this is now our new high, higher high, and what the bulls have to do is continue this idea, continue the idea of bullish market structure. We're not confirmed bullish yet, simply because we've put in a lower low here. Even though the bulls have been able to take out this high, they still now need to put in a higher low and take out the original high. Okay, so somewhere now what we're expecting for continuation is a higher low, and then we want the price to go up and take out the pivot high that's been put in. That will be a bullish market structure confirmation. It will be a change from bearish to bullish. Okay, and this is on the 4-hour time frame. I think that's going to be really important, because then you can begin some sort of trend, uptrend on the 4-hour time frame, which is what we want. Okay, so we are seeing something happen here. Is the low in or not? I think it could be, yeah, for many reasons. Why? I think we came to a really important area and we held a higher low, and now we've broken out of this trend line. When I was doing the stream yesterday, we hadn't broken the trend line yet. Okay, and obviously I'm pleased to see that the trend line has broken. So what I was hoping for or preempting happened, and that's why I was long. Okay, because I could see that that's what was trying to happen. Now what I want to see for continuation is a higher low and a higher high on the 4-hour time frame. That's really what I want to see next. Now bulls want to see that. They have to see that. If you want to see continuation, we need to see a higher low and a higher high. And what the bears want to do is take the price all the way down and make a lower low. That's what the bears want to do. Yeah, that would continue the bearish trend, because even though we've put in a higher high here, if now the bears are able to go down and put in a lower low here, take out this pivot, this higher high which the bulls have made will becomes the lower high. It changes. Yeah, so right now it's a higher high, but if the bears are able to take the price all the way down to below this pivot at about 24 cents or so, 24.5, whatever, then this bearish trend continues. Okay, there's a lot of space for the bulls to defend the price now. Okay, there's a lot of space. This is actually quite bullish to have so much space. It's quite hard for the bears to take the price down to make a new low. So this is actually quite bullish, because it's very difficult for the bears to do that. But the higher the bulls are able to put in a higher low, the easier it will be to put in a higher high. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that if the price now was to pull back down to here, which a lot of people might want, because they're like, oh my god, I missed out, I need lower prices, it actually makes it difficult to take the price all the way back up and take out that high. Yeah. So while on one hand, people love that kind of price action because it gives them a good entry, it does actually make it difficult for the price action to change and be confirmed bullish. Yeah. The higher you can put in the higher low, the easier the change, because if now we pull back onto this previous pivot high, which would be a really good place for the price to find support, and then we go, it means we don't have to do much. The bulls don't have to do much. They only have to take the price up from wherever it finds support, say somewhere at about 30 cents or so to 33 cents. Yeah, it's not that difficult to put in a higher low here and to go and take out that higher high to confirm bullish market structure change. And then if that continues, then we're in bullish market structure. We have higher lows, then you'll be higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. That's what you'll be doing. You'll be trading that. It's easy to see. And the problem with putting in a higher low higher up, again, it's the same problem. It just means that the bull bears have an easier target. Yeah. So hypothetically, if the bulls were able to, if the price did go down and the bulls were able to defend that and to take the price all the way up, that's your higher, that becomes your higher low. So it makes it just as it's difficult now for the bears to take the price down to put in a lower low. The lower the higher low, the harder it is for the bears to attack if and when the bulls are able to put in a higher high. So there's a little bit of dynamic, there's a little bit of psychology going on here between what the bears have to do and whether that's attainable in the context of how far the price has moved and the way the price has to come back down to put in that higher low to find support, and then what it has to do next, which is go and make a higher high. So this is quite dynamic, and it's always good to keep a track of the market structure. Every time frame has its own market structure, and so when I'm analyzing, I'm always starting with the lowest time frames. Well, I'll have a look at the 1 minute sometimes because David is spamming me to look at the 1 minute. I'm usually just focused on the 5 minute to begin with, and if I see a change in a 5 minute, that's where I begin to decide how I'm gonna take trade. Yeah, like so right now when looking at the 5 minute, let's have a look. So it's exactly the same idea. You're putting in lower lows, lower highs, you're putting in lower lows, see, lower high, lower low, so lower high, all the way down to here, lower low. All of this was nothing. The price still had to go up to that pivot, which it did. So you see it made it quite difficult for the bulls to put in a higher high. They did, well done. They put in a higher high here. That's what was needed. And then they put in a lower low, a higher low. Now, the bears had to take the price all the way down to this pivot here. They weren't able to do that. So somewhere in this retracement, the bulls were able to put in a higher low. And then they were able to take out the original high there to put in a higher high. That was market structure change to bullish on the 5 minute time frame. And after that happened, guess what happened? Just it continued, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs. So you just take it from the high to the low. Yeah. So looking at this now, from the high to the low, higher high, there's the low, higher low, next high, high, next low, higher low, next high, higher high. You see here, this low didn't actually make a low low. You see that wick? It's amazing, huh? But it didn't actually make a low low. It made a higher low. So that's your higher low. Next high is there. Next higher low. So as long as it doesn't come underneath this higher low, then it's a higher low. So when's the next higher low? There. Where's the next high? You see it took out the high here, came down to make a low, make a higher high here, put in a low there, next high all the way up to there. So okay, so we're still in bullish market structure territory right now. Okay, this is the low to beat, the last higher low, and this is the 5-minute time frame. This is where the change will begin if things start to get bearish. Okay, so that's it's a key level. Okay, get rid of the brush strokes now because they're not relevant. And so naturally what I'm thinking is the first thing you're looking for is a 5-minute market structure change if you want to, if the price is now going to turn to bearish, right? That's your higher high up there. If the bulls take out that high, market structure continues. If the bears, what the bears need to do is they need to go down and put in a lower low here, take out that low. That will be a lower low in a 5-minute time frame. Then the bears will have to put in a lower high and make a new low to confirm a change. I think that's your first signal that the price is about to move down. Okay, until that happens, there's no reason to be bearish on SLERF or crypto, to be honest with you, because I really believe that SLERF at the moment is leading. Okay, and really crypto is all about, or the markets even, is all about sentiment. When people are bullish on SLERF, they're bullish on the markets, the crypto, because of what SLERF is. It's a meme coin. Yeah, it's like the final frontier of gambling, so to speak. You know, speculation of being completely irresponsible with one's own wealth. You know, pouring one's value into a meme coin. So when you see that this is bullish, the whole market's bullish, and then when you start seeing a change here, then that it's a pre-warning for the rest of the market, because naturally this is the first thing that people are going to start selling if they start feeling fear, if they start feeling doubt, if they start feeling uncertainty, if they start feeling that the market is no longer going up, if it's starting to turn. Yeah, and you'll see it in a 5-minute market structure change. That's what needs to happen first. So if anyone's looking for a signal of when is a good time to scale out, or to hedge, or to cover, or do something about their position, if they're in heavy profits, maybe take profit, or if they're in a really good position, they might want to just hedge so they don't have to take profits but they don't lose their fiat value, then you just wait for market structure change. Yeah, and I think the 5-minute is a really good way to do that. Usually what I've seen with the price action is that SLERF is leading Bitcoin by about 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Okay. So if I see 30 minutes, if I see market structure change here on SLERF, guess what I'm doing? I'm shorting Bitcoin. Literally. And then if I suddenly see the bulls, like some kind of bear trap, you get this kind of bearish confirmation, and you suddenly see a higher high, higher low, and then a confirmation of, if it goes from bearish to bullish immediately, you have to change. You don't just be stuck in that idea. If you see suddenly it go bearish and then go straight back to bullish, you know, so you have to be on top of this. You can't just ignore it and go, oh look, it's bearish, I'm just going to think it's now bearish for the next few days or hours or whatever. You have to keep an eye on the market structure, and the 5-minute is a good place to see what's happening in real time. Okay, so right now I'm not contemplating this. I think the market structure is bullish. We have a real a defined low, and even if we go down and let's say swing failure that low, that's still not confirmation of a change. That would be a lower low. Yeah, but then the bears still have to go and put in a lower high and a lower low. What could happen, and does often happen, is that The price will go down in search of liquidity to put in a lower low here, and stop out a lot of people, because naturally that's where their people's invalidations are going to be, because they don't want to see a lower low, they want to see a higher low. And then the price just goes up on its merry way and puts in a higher high, and you still have bullish market structure. What happens in that circumstance is that your higher low moves from here to wherever this lower low was put in. That becomes your higher low, because you've gone from a low straight to a high. Okay, and then the higher high changes to wherever the high is put in. So you need a confirmation of change. You can't just go with the first lower low. Okay, you need to see after the bears put in a lower low, if they put in a lower low, you need to see a lower high, and you need to see that same low taken out with a lower low. You need to see that. That will be a confirmation, and that will be a signal. Okay, until we see that, there's no reason to be bearish. Just be bullish. Yeah, I'm not bearish. I've hedged only because I saw the price go over, as I was explaining to Gary. When you see the price without any reason shoot above key levels, without any acknowledgement, without any resistance, just no reaction, then that's a good signal to to hedge or to short. Yeah, because it's so minuscule, it's so rare for that to happen and be genuine that you wouldn't bet on it. So when I saw that, I saw, wait a minute, what's going on? These are really strong levels. Why is the price not resisting? What happened was someone was squeezed, I guess, or someone who was in a hefty short was really annoyed or something and decided they got frustrated, and because the price had come up and it wasn't going back down, and they probably just closed the market. And then what happened that followed is that the people took their profits. Yeah, and so all of this movement up and down is probably someone closing their short, and then a lot of people who maybe were positioned in lower down here finally were able to take profits, and it was a good place to take profit. It was a good place to take some profits, because you're into some technical resistance on a higher time frame. Yeah, and what we want to see now is, obviously we want to see bullish market structure to remain. We don't want to lose that, and I'm not saying we can't lose it. We can always lose it. Anything can happen in crypto. Price can go up, price can go down. You can lose levels, you can reclaim levels. Yeah, so just because we're in bullish market structure and the price is looking quite buoyant, doesn't mean the price can't find resistance and start going down. Yeah, now you almost expect that to happen, because on the 4-hour time frame we've put in a higher high, but now we want to put in a higher low. Yeah, so just bear that in mind, that like we almost have to get a little bit bearish before we go back to bullish. And the question for a lot of people is, how is that going to look like, and how am I going to react to that kind of bearish price action? Because obviously if you're sitting in quite hefty profits, I think a lot of people potentially are, because even after SLERF kind of commented on my tweet, the price continued going up. Yeah, so I think anyone who just looked at my video, even if they didn't even watch my video and just reacted on the title, would have probably made money. Yeah, like I think a lot of people possibly, if they didn't have, probably made a lot of money just by hearing me say what I said yesterday. Of course, everyone has their own analysis. No one's like blindly following me, and that's good. Like, I don't want them to. I want people to just use this information to come up to their own conclusions. But maybe that helped. I think what I am expecting a higher low on the 4-hour time frame, and I think what I want to see now is, now that we've broken this trend line, where does the price find support? Because we're clearly into resistance now. Yeah. All right, this is what I'm looking for right now. All right. So I've gone on for a little bit. I hope that helped. I hope that some of my explanations were helpful. All right, let me just kind of analyze this a little bit after I did that little explanation. So what I'm going to do, firstly, I'm just going to look at the lower volume just from when we come into this, underneath this point of control. You see that? That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going on right now. So what I'm contemplating right now are ranges to see where we are in situation in the position of the market. There's effectively two ranges in play right now. There's a higher range and a lower range, and also there's price action underneath the point of control and above the point of control, right? And let me just do it from this one where we're in the lower part of the range. Let me see what that's like. Yeah, so what's happening right now, so let me just explain to you the range. So I've done this fib pool from the pivot high to the pivot low. The range is split into two, and anything underneath the 50% mark, so the 0.5 on the fib retracement, is the lower range. You can clearly see that there's an SR flip at the 50% mark here. See that? That's support, that's resistance. That's been tested, so we know that we're in the lower part of the range right now. Okay, this is the lower part of the range. And this is the higher part of the range. It's quite nicely balanced, except that most of the price action has been in the lower part of the range. It was in the higher part for a short period of time, and now we're in the lower part. Okay, so when you're doing a volume range pool, and again I'm using Bybit, I'm doing it, you can break these volume ranges into two now. You can break it into the higher volume range and the lower volume range. Okay, so from the higher one, it's still there, that's the higher range, and the volume range for the lower range is from this candle that brings us to the lower range to the current price action, and that's there. You see that? And what that allows us to see now is that we're actually coming to another level of resistance, which I wasn't aware of, which I can see now, which is the value area low of the lower range. So we're still not, even though we're in the value area of the overall range, which I've marked here with these red lines, this, I've called it Bybit value area low, we're still underneath the value area of the lower range, the actual lower range. You see that? Okay, and we've actually come nicely into it. So we are into some really, dare I say it, strong resistance right now. And we need to flip that into support. I honestly think that if we're able to flip this area of resistance into support, then we'll probably head up to the point of control really quickly. Probably. I think we'll probably go up really fast if we're able to do that. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I can see here that we haven't created much resistance on the way down here. That'll be a quick move to there. Then you have a daily level here, but then you'll probably squeeze all the way up to the top anyway. Yeah, so I do foresee that if we do manage to get back into the value area low of this lower range, we'll probably shift right up to 41 cents quite quickly. We just have to get into there and back test it. I don't know if that's going to happen just now, just simply because we're finding resistance. You can see that the price is finding resistance. You can see it's not going to go in easily, and we possibly have to come back down to find support to go up. Okay, and so I've got this high volume node here marked out. It's also kind of corresponding with this pivot, so possibly we have to come back, find support somewhere here, to go up for another attack of that level. That's kind of what I'm envisioning right now. I don't know how long that's going to take. I can't tell. Let me just do a fib pull. So if we were to come back to that high volume node, that will bring us to the 382. And this is the question that changes market structure to bearish on the 5-minute time frame. Let's see how you have to see how the price will behave. Are you going to see a sell-off? That's the danger. You know, the danger is that you've got a lot of people who have got longs open here. Are they going to close their longs? Because the price can overreact. Because you're basically coming all the way down to here. The other thing I'm going to do is let me just do a volume pull on this price action from this low to the current price action. Yeah, you see how the volume area, the value area high is also at the same price. It's probably a good place for the price to find support. There. Traders will be looking for the golden pocket. We'll put our trend line back in. So traders will be looking for the golden pocket. But personally, I think this is going to be the most bullish to find support as higher up as possible. If we were to get a really flat correction now, you'd basically doing this. Maybe testing the high once to go up, maybe with a descending, or depending on how bullish it is, you continue the idea of higher lows and you ended up with a flat top triangle. There's different ways that the price can form to go up, or you can go down to go up. Yeah, so effectively what I'm saying is to go up, something has to happen. You can't just go, you know, we have to create something, some kind of way of squeezing up. But we are into key resistance right now. We're into really strong resistance. And yeah, I'm not, let me just do some other things quickly. Hold on. I'm going to go back to regular, have a look at these speed fans. Where are they? Can't find them. Where's my fans? EW. I kind of lost them. Outer trend lines, I've got that. Bottom long trade. There it is. Sorry, this is a little bit messy now. Let's see where we are if we're into, okay, yeah. So this is also quite important as well. See, look, so we're into a really strong resistance level as well, because we're into this, let me hide the rest so you can see the one that I'm really focused on. So what I've got is a speed fan using the regular chart, not log, because it only works on regular, from the buy bit pivot high all the way to this all-time low that was putting here on buy bit. And you can see here that the 618, we've come into it for the first time. Okay, so we're finding resistance on that. You can clearly see that. See that? And that has to be flipped too. And just because we're bullish, it doesn't mean this is going to break. Just bear that in mind. Yeah, so I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just telling you that we are into resistance. We also are into local support, but we kind of, it looks like we're trying to lose it now, which is this 236. You see that? And obviously we've got our key level, which is our higher low, which I've marked off there. And you've got your higher key level, which is a higher high. So we're into resistance right now. Just we're into many levels of resistance. And what the price needs to do now is to come somehow find support to go back up. I think traders will want as low as possible. But again, the same issue arises. You don't really want to go that low for continuation. You want to kind of stay up as much as possible. So let me just, so now that we're in, I know that we're into that 6618. Go back to the log. I've got a couple of GAN fans as well. So you see we're above this GAN fan too. So we're above support. We're also into resistance. Which one is this GAN fan? Again, from the same pivot. Again, to the same pivot low. I haven't seen it reacted in any meaningful way in the past. So it's hard to gauge whether this is going to offer support, okay, or not. But I can see here that after we broke the 2-1, we found resistance, then we broke it, and actually we came back to back test it before we continued going up. So we've crossed it without really, without it offering much resistance. Could we come back in here? What day is it today? Thursday. Could we fall back by 9 p.m. today to find support here? Somewhere there. That would be the value area high of this up move. It'll be the 382 retracement of this move. It'll be a back test of this GAN fan, which is the 3-1. It will be an SR flip of this pivot here. And it's a high volume node. See, I've got a high volume node there. We've got quite a lot of things going on here. If we can get to this level at about 9 p.m. today, that's at about 0.2971. So we're looking at a full cent lower than where we are right now. Just bear that in mind. And again, it's all about supply and demand. It's all about the price finding support with buyers and liquidity. You'd want to see a reaction, and then you want to see a buy up to take the price right back up and potentially forming a much kind of extended range here. Yeah, looking at the move from here to here, look, this is, you could almost argue that this is like your little wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Are we forming a little 4 here for the last wave in this first wave of 5? I don't know. And how deep is this going to go? Well, if we are forming some kind of mini wave 1, which is a 5-wave impulse, then technically, let me have a look. 1 ABC. This is some kind of 3 all the way up to the top. Some kind of weird 3. Technically, you wouldn't want the price to come underneath the top of this 1, technically. So technically, I'm not really interested in the price coming all the way down to the golden pocket. And obviously, if the price came to the top of this 1, then there's pretty much, I don't think there's much support there anyway. I think I'm thinking that the support has to be here. Okay. So let's see what happens. This is kind of where you want the price to find support at the very least for continuation. And then for continuation, again, you're losing this key level. So you're contemplating a 5-minute market structure change. So that's also something to bear in mind. I'm not crazy about that idea. Personally, I would be more fond of us just having some kind of flat correction here to go up. It would just make life a lot easier. That's possibly going to happen because you can see here this little mini correction was like a little ABC. It was like a zigzag, a really mini zigzag. Maybe we are going to have a little flat correction here, hold that key level for continuation. We just have to see what happens. Okay, I do think this is a really good area to buy but again, it's the same thing. Do you lose the key level and just sell off for this without changing market structure, for the buyers to step in to push the price right back up to take us to higher prices? Yeah, does that happen? Or do we see a sell-off here to go back up to continue this change, and then we're just looking for a little bit of a deeper correction to see what happens? Honestly, I'm not fond of us losing this pivot. I'm not fond of that idea at all. Okay, so just let's see what happens. Any questions on that so far? I'm going to have a look at HTX to explain why I don't think it's a good chart to use. Any questions? Yeah, this is I'm really thinking this is my area of support. But we have to see. We might not lose this key level. 5-minute market structure might just remain bullish, and we just continue. But then what you're looking for is some kind of flag, some kind of flat top triangle, some kind of consolidation here without losing 5-minute time frame bullish market structure. So at the moment you're forming kind of this higher low here. You've got a little bit of a higher high here. It's a little triangle. Really, you want to break that to attack the highs one more time without taking out the high. Yeah, we don't want to take out the high just yet. The problem with taking out the high is we're not creating that squeeze liquidity that we need, and naturally it'd be better to have a descending high. But actually with that speed fan, I can clearly see that these highs are like that. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but I wouldn't mind if we could go up there without taking the high and attacking that and forming some kind of pennant or something like that, or some kind of flag. A flag would be like that. But I'm not really seeing a flag here, because usually flags, yeah. Definitely look for reaction here if we come down this evening. And what you want to see is you want to see a reaction. You want to see the price to find support. You want to see volume, but you want to see the price not move down. Okay, so you can see the price is being absorbed. And then obviously if we are to go down, we need to see the price get right back up, yeah, and continue. We don't want to see the price go up and then fall back down. That's not what we want to see. What we want to see is demand, real demand, and this is going to be a good area. So I'm going to mark this off. I don't think I'm going to add myself personally here. I might. I like to add on strength, and I've seen strength. I haven't needed to add it. I've just hedged. So potentially if I see a reaction here, I'll close my hedge or take profit on that for the price to go up. But I think what I want to see now is a higher low, and then I want to see us to go up. Okay, and I kind of want us to get up into the higher prices. I want us to get up to there. Okay, and that's what I'm looking for. I think this needs to happen first, something like this. And then obviously I don't want us to go lower. I think we could always go lower. So don't, just because I don't want it to happen, doesn't mean I'm not thinking to myself that it can't happen. Yeah, you could always go lower. You could always lose that. For whatever reason, you could always go lower. Worst case scenario, if we are to create this kind of sell-off, it wouldn't look crazy bullish. Just wait for the 5-minute market structure change. If you see that change to bearish, then then that's a signal. Okay, if we see a confirmation of the change, then that's the signal. Okay, I don't necessarily think there needs to be a 5-minute market structure confirmed change for us to come down and up. Yeah, to lose that key level, but to come right back up, especially if the drop is quite deep and then it's suddenly brought up. That will actually, it will be a lower low here, but actually it'll be quite bullish because you're right back up into this upper range, and then all the bulls need to do is just take it right up there. Yeah, so I don't necessarily think that's going to look terrible if that happens. It will liquidate some people if they have tight stops. Then what the other thing you can do is, now that we're above this, hold on, let me see where we are. So I have different fib pools in play right now. I've got this local one and then the higher time frame one. You can see that the price is kind of trapped between the higher time frame one and maybe this local one. So you could also, if you wanted to, you can just do a local range pull, see where the volume is. You can see that we are actually into a little bit of resistance. We're still into resistance, and you can see that some people have been taking profit. And effectively what you would want to do if we fall down here, we need to get back up there. That's what needs to happen. We need to get back up there, and then we need to either consolidate to go up or to now attack the top. I think that would be really good if that was to happen. All right, so I'm just kind of keeping that in mind. You want to see the reaction. Maybe I will buy actually, but I'm already in a position, so I'm not desperate to move my position up. To be honest with you. So maybe I'll close my hedge. I don't know what I'll do. I haven't decided yet. Gary's asking the best exchange for UK spot and peeps. The UK really is terrible. They changed the rules, the regulations last October, and it's a real challenge. I think if you're looking, the way I do it is I've got a Palau ID. So if you go into my video, I've got a link there. Let me get it for you. Just go to any one of my videos. I've got the link there. I don't get anything. I'm not getting paid for that. Just close that. Here, KYC digital residency for crypto exchanges. If you go to the Palau ID, you can get a digital ID which allows you to KYC on exchanges without showing up as British, and so therefore you're not banned. Yeah, So right now, if you show your British license or passport, you can't use a lot of exchanges. But when you KYC with the Palau ID, you can. So what I did with Bybit, because before I had my British ID, I asked them to remove my KYC, which they did. I got my Palau ID. It took about 2 weeks to arrive. And then I did KYC on Bybit with Palau. And now what I do is I connect to the exchange with a VPN, because you can't connect to it from the UK without a VPN. And I can just use it like I used to use it, Bybit. Okay. And I've done that on MEXC. I've done that on Gate. I haven't done it on Binance. I don't really use Binance. And it just made my life so much easier. The only caveat is that the American, I saw something today about the Palau ID for Americans. And so basically you'll get an ID like this. So if I log in, I'll show you. It'll look like that. It's like a little driver's license. The problem now is that with America, I saw this on Twitter, on X, whatever it's called. So if you're American, you got to be aware of potential legislative restrictions. It says our director just had a challenging conversation. Let me bring it onto my main screen so you guys can read that. Our director just had a challenging conversation with US regulators. Here's how you can help our program. Always stay on top of the law. Right, whatever. Extend your Palau ID for multi-years when the program is still alive in your country. This is only talking about America right now, so it may not be relevant for me in the UK, but obviously for Americans, that's very relevant. Palau ID is really, really useful, as long as they don't come down hard on it. All right, so sorry, back to SLERF. All right, this is what I'm thinking right now. Obviously, I don't want to. This is the thing, losing levels is bearish. You don't want to lose levels, and you want to kind of flip levels into support. We're definitely coming into resistance now, and it's not that straightforward to get through resistance. You know, you have to do something. The price has to do something. Yeah, it has to create some kind of pattern to break that resistance. Let me just pull this all back up. I'm just going to clean my charts up a little bit, actually. Everything's looking, look, it's looking messy. Fixed ranges are not working. I don't know why. That's fine. Why is this not working? That's fine. This one. Right. That's that one. That's that one. Let me just put this into here. Right. Get rid of these two. Okay. And then higher time frame levels. Let me just get rid of that fib now. Or actually, what I'll do is I'll put it in here. Okay. This daily level hasn't been back tested, so sometimes you can get back tests of these levels, and so while I'm thinking to myself there, you know, this is crypto. If we are going there, why not there? You know, this just bear that in mind. Just because you have a nice idea, it doesn't always work out. It's never good to catch a falling knife. So it's always, when I'm in this situation, I'm always looking for strength. Yeah, especially when there's no clearly defined like swing failure or an easy entry. Swing failures are really easy entries. Here there's no easy entry. So what you're looking for is strength. And when I'm looking for strength, I'm looking for losing a level and reclaiming it. Yeah. So while I have this in my mind as a good area of interest, that just a back test of this pivot into this high volume node, sometimes it's a lot easier to see strength when you lose a level like this high volume node, or maybe even a daily level, lose a level and then reclaiming it, you know, just reclaiming the level. And I prefer to see, rather than try and catch some kind of down move, I prefer to see the down move complete, however it completes, and then wait for strength, which would be losing levels and reclaiming levels, losing levels and reclaiming levels. So the minute you see a level lost, but then the price reclaims it, that's your entry, because then you have a really easy invalidation. And when it comes to trading, it's always about the invalidation. So if you do, let's say hypothetically, come back down, lose a daily level that you haven't really tested, but actually the price just goes back up and gets back above it, then you have this little kind of market structure here, which is your invalidation. So you're not expecting the price to just suddenly go down, you're expecting it to flip into support for continuation. Just because I am thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice to just pull back here and just go right up? The reality is that's never usually how it happens. Usually it's a lot more kind of scarier when you start moving down. But look what happened here. You see the price pulled back and it was just immediately bought up, and then the price went up. So just because this is effectively what I'm contemplating. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at my brush strokes, maybe people are thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice if it did that? Maybe actually it's going to be more like these the way it happened here, something like this, you know, where, you know, that would make, potentially that could make more sense. You know, you pierce through it, but actually you're just holding a high volume node, and you're forming some kind of support, and effectively you're just going down to find support to go back up. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the price to find support. It's a lot harder because when the price goes down, people get bearish, and so it'll be a lot easier if we just have a flat correction here to go up, and that could happen too. You know, no one really knows. Like maybe that we all have a flat correction. Maybe this wasn't flat. I don't know. I can't tell. All right, so let's just keep an eye on this. As long as we're bullish market structure on 5-minute time frame, I'm not going to do anything. Once it goes to bearish, then I'll be taking some kind of precautionary measures to protect my position further, and also possibly and then I'll be looking for the price to turn lower down, and that's when I'll be probably looking to take profit on my hedge or to add to my long. Okay, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to add to my long yet, because I don't want to kind of ruin my position, and I don't know if the price has moved enough, to be honest with you. I was thinking to myself, yeah, all right, I've done quite an in-depth analysis on this. I don't know if there's any questions. Yeah, I can't. Tell me if you have any questions. The candles are really bullish. So yesterday's candle was really an amazing candle, to be honest with you. It's a bullish engulfing. We've basically closed all the way up above the last 4 days, and we already have this kind of bullish reaction on the day close. We're into that daily level, which is obviously we're seeing a reaction there, and that's obviously coinciding with other resistance levels. I think if we have a green day today like this, then we're probably going to see continuation tomorrow, probably. Yeah, that's what I'm almost expecting. We have to see how this day plays out, because obviously you've got the New York session, and the way this candle has opened, there's been no back test. Yeah, and so normally with these candles you do get some kind of back test. Yeah, but it would be great for this candle to close green, and it would be really good to see this candle close green above the previous day high. Yeah, so as long as it's green and it's above the previous day high, I think I'd be looking for continuation. Yeah, I think I would be looking for continuation, and I'd be looking for it to go up probably all the way up to my level, to be honest with you. There's some intermediary resistance levels here. Like you've got a daily level at 3422 and you've got a daily level at 3866. But again, it's kind of what I said before. On this lower range, hold on, where did I do it? I thought I had both of them. Oh, it's messed it up. Oh yeah, no, it hasn't. On this lower range, I don't know why it's not done all of it. You can clearly see that we're into this value area low as a resistance. See that? So while I've got a daily level higher up, which I've marked, and higher up, which I've marked, which should be resistance until flipped, I think this is a really important level now where we're at now. Yeah. So if we can get above the current daily level, above this value area low, above that fan that I've hidden now, above that fib, I mean, these are lots of resistance. Huh? Like just now with me talking about it, it's quite a lot of resistance here. Above this 236, we really need, the bulls would really need to have to show up now. If we get back above there, that's a massive sign of strength. Yeah, I think that's where I would be adding that to that. If I see that, I would definitely add to my position. If I see a back test there, take out that high, little back test. We're back into this value area, which is the slow range value area. I don't see why the price wouldn't impulse up to the point of control. Right? So this is quite important to see what happens next. Yeah, I think it's possible. Right. It's kind of what I'm looking at for SLERF right now. Let's get back. Let's try and see what happens. But let's just, what we need to do is we need to get back above these levels. That'll be a sign of strength. I'll be looking probably to buy that, probably. Or if I see the price coming to support lower down, we'll see. I'm not sure. But effectively, it'll be a back test of this area. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And then if we get back up there, actually that is really a sign of strength. If you find support, then I think that would be a much safer long. But obviously you're longing higher up, but you're longing into strength. That's the difference. It's the difference with that long. You're longing into strength. Sometimes longing into the pullback is difficult because, you know, for the price to lose levels, it's a little, there's it's weakness, and so naturally you're just not blindly longing. You're looking for reaction. You're looking for to see strength. What you're looking for is strength, right? So these are kind of like what I'm contemplating. I think probably actually if we do get back up there, I probably will add to my long, just because of the context of what it means. Yeah, right. So that's SLERF. If there's any questions on SLERF, it's been quite long, so apologies. what I don't want to see. And so while I'm contemplating the bullish narrative, yeah, I want people to be aware of the bearish narrative too, because this is what you don't want to see. On the first instance, you don't really want to see a market structure change. It begins with a 5-minute time frame. So the minute you see that, just be aware. And then obviously the second thing I don't want to see, yeah, is losing levels. I don't want to see levels lost. I want to see levels back tested and held as support. Obviously right now we're at the 236, so if we can hold that, then I'm going to be impressed. But this is my area of interest here, so I'm not looking for the price to now suddenly lose that level, lose this daily level, find resistance. I think there's going to be a problem there if that starts to happen. Okay, so if we actually going down and we're finding resistance, then you just got to be aware of that. Okay, that's not healthy to see that kind of price action to come back underneath this pivot, which you haven't been able to flip. It becomes problematic for the price, and it just means there just isn't enough liquidity. There's too much selling, there's not enough buying, and that could then lead to lower prices. And effectively what happens is the price is always looking for support to go up, or to go down it's always looking for resistance. So basically the balance of buying and selling has to flip. If something changes in the sentiment of the market or the price of the market, or something happens and you start losing levels, don't just hope because you're bullish. Just see what the price is doing, react. Okay, react based on the price. And if you're going to see, like, if you've seen the price fall, it's never a good idea to just catch the price as it's falling, yeah, unless you're the richest person in the world and you have enough capital to do that. It's always best to let the price settle down, find support. Yeah, so just give you an example. I mean, this V shape was a little bit of an exception, but here you see as the price was coming down, there was plenty of ample time to let the price settle down to find support before it moved up. Even this V shape recovery here, there was no need to catch that knife, that falling knife, because you could clearly see that the price, as it came back into this higher level, that the price wanted to go back up. Yeah, so while people are the problem is you just don't know. You don't know how far this is going to go. You don't know where it's going to end. It's better to wait for the price to bottom out when you see that the price is falling. Yeah, because the thing about the way the price moves is it always over moves, and so whether it goes up, it always goes up further, and when it comes down, it always comes down further. So while I'm contemplating the price to find support, say here, I can't make that happen. I have to wait to see where the price actually does find support. Okay, because the price can sometimes move further, and if it does go lower than I expect, I'm not going to catch that. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the price to come back above my level again, get back into the area that I wanted. I'll ignore the bottom part. I'm not going to be too worried that I couldn't catch it at 28.7 cents. If all I have to do is just wait for the price to find support and come right back up into my area of interest, which is at 30 cents. Yeah, just one cent higher. I'm okay with that, because then I'll be buying into a recovery. I'll be buying into strength. I'll be buying into a reclaim of a lost level. Yeah, it'll give me a really easy invalidation, and it means that I don't have to worry about buying and worry about the price continue going down. I don't have to be stressed about that. Okay, and that's quite stressful to buy, and then the price goes all the way, continues going down. So even in this kind of this price action from two nights ago, yeah, look at that. You can't buy that. It's difficult. Okay, when the price settles, you can buy. Okay, but you're still There's always a danger the price can go down. For most people, the safest option in all of this price range was a reclaim of that daily level. Yeah, the daily level is there. You lose it. What do you want it? Where the best, the safest entry is to reclaim it. So as the price comes down and does all this kind of razzmatazz, you ignore it, but then you see the price come right back up, take out that high, that lower high, and you see the price is now trying to reclaim the level. Yeah, and so anywhere here was a good place to enter. Even with the first kind of buy up, it was a good place. Like all of this area was a good. Of course, you don't catch the absolute bottom, but then you're buying into strength, and the price, even after this area, which was fine. That was when I did my stream yesterday morning. It was here. And the price moved up to a max of 18%, and now it's still at 12%. Yeah, so it's just a lot safer to wait for strength when you're looking to buy. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that sometimes you don't need to rush into these things. Right, that's that. Let me just hide this stuff. So I've been looking at the obviously I've been kind of contemplating Elliott waves, and it's really quite difficult to do at the beginning of a potential move. David, welcome. David's here. You finally made it. Gary's in the house. So is Bays. It's very difficult to do Elliott waves when you have no idea what's going to come. Yesterday I was contemplating that this first part was a wave one. I have no idea. There's no way to know right now. Just simply because usually these impulsive waves, there's 5 waves. And I mean, can you count 5 waves? I can't really. You could probably count 5 waves there, but it's pretty stressful counting. 1, maybe see 1, I don't know, 3. But I mean, possibly actually looking at it now, it could be to there, you know, it could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just looking at it now, it's quite deceptive, but the conditions for Elliott waves are that the 3 can't come underneath, the 4 can't come underneath the 1. I don't really kind of consider wicks so much in crypto when it comes to Elliott waves. It's for me, it's more about where the closes are. And here, looking at it, if I'm just imagining the 1 to be there, you can see here that the price actually here in the 4 didn't close. It didn't close underneath the 1. Yeah, it wicked in, but it didn't close. Yeah, so I'm kind of just contemplating now that there is potentially some kind of 5-wave move there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 1 was extremely impulsive. This 3, it's hard to tell, and then the 5 was a okay. Now, the reason why I'm considering this, I may be wrong. I have no idea. Yeah, because it's only just begun, and the reason why I'm considering this is because after here, you have some kind of correction. This actually from this 5 looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. I don't know. Can't tell. It's not easy to see how this correction is. Hold on. Potentially, that is your 3 and that is your 5 there too. Because it's the same idea. You just don't want to come back underneath the 1. It's not crazy easy to count here, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to speculate. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got A, B, C, 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 A, B. C, C, maybe. Maybe you had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Maybe you had something like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. And actually, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like, well, this is triangle wave. It's basically that. Followed by this. Followed by this. Just lots of ABCs all the way down to here. I mean, it's really speculative. Like, I have no idea. It's quite complicated. And is this correct? Again, I have no idea. So that's why I'm doing it, because it's fun, because we're just speculating. I don't really know about this. I'm just assuming that it could be. Yeah, I'm just presuming that it could be. I'm presuming that this could be some kind of 2 correction, and I'm also presuming that this could be the beginning of an impulse. The only way to know is if we actually do impulse. Yeah. And so while now looking at it, it looks quite impulsive. It looks really impulsive. Yeah. This also looks impulsive here. So potentially you could argue that that's actually your wave 1 and that's your wave 2. And this is your 3. And we're just forming a small 1 here. So I think the way to kind of consider this is to just, let's see how this plays out. Okay. As we get more price action, it'll begin to take shape. And then it'll be a lot easier to look back in hindsight and consider what's happening before our eyes. If for some reason this was, and I just don't know, like, it's really messy. I don't think anyone really knows, honestly. Like, it's not easy to know if that is, let me just say hypothetically, that was like it. Let me have a look. Up to there or up to here? I'm not sure. Probably up to there. Yeah, maybe. Let me see. I'll try and count it again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So. Since this whole 3 is, none of it's impulsive at all. Hello? Look, this is gonna, I'm gonna have to take a lot of time to mess around with this. I'm not gonna do it now because I don't know. So let's just see what happens. Okay, let's just wait for the data to come. I haven't actually looked at Bitcoin. Can you believe it, David? I've been waiting for David, to be honest with you. So I'm going to look at Bitcoin now. It's amazing, huh? So I had this idea, this rounding bottom, and with this kind of V-shape rounding bottom type thing. And, you know, it's amazing how sometimes you have these ideas and they happen. So I'm going to delete it all now. because we've experienced that life, and now let's move on to the next life. The first thing I do on Bitcoin, as everyone knows, is just check the volume, just to make sure we have updated data. So let me just quickly do that now. I had this trade plan on this Monday pullback. Look, look at that. So I had 3 ideas, and yeah, and look, it's on the second one. That's why it's good to have these kind of to theorize ideas, because you can see what's happening as it happens. Delete that now. What was that one? Oh, that was much lower. Delete that. Bottom. Delete all of this now. It's all relevant. Single prints. Higher range volume. Okay, that's what we wanted. We'll go to the 2-hour time frame. Okay, no real change in the volume profile. We haven't come into the high volume node yet, just yet. There is a high volume node there. That's the higher range volume. No, let's see the lower range. So I've got this lower range volume profile as well. Let me just see if that's changed at all. Nope, no changes. And actually what you can see is we've left the range. Yeah. So right now we've left the low range, this whole low range. We're on the upper side of it, and we're coming into some kind of resistance, but we haven't got there yet. Do we have any levels? Not really any levels. Any epochs? No epochs. Probably this one is cleared now, so let me delete that. Single prints higher up. We got single prints. I think we're good, huh? I can't see much resistance, to be honest with you. It's amazing because on SLERF we're into resistance, but on okay, there you go. There's your resistance. I knew there had to be something that was stopping the price from going up. And there it is. Right. So we're into the golden pocket, as you can see. We've actually come into it, which is quite healthy. So we're back above, we're up above, we're into the golden pocket, and we're above this pivot here. As long as we're above this pivot, I think we're good when it comes to Bitcoin. You know, that's an SR flip. At the moment, you could probably ignore the these volume levels, this low range. I can just ignore that. And as long as we hold this SR flip, I think we're fine. Yeah. And so naturally, I think people will be looking for long entries on this little mini range that's formed. The easiest ones on Bitcoin will be like a swing failure of the lows into the SR flip. That would be a really good long on the local time frame. Little SR flip, back test, swing failure of the lows there. Yeah, that'd be easy, huh? Take it right back up to the highs there. An easy trade potentially, and we could be forming some kind of flag here. As well. And obviously you don't want to lose that SR flip. I think that's going to be problematic. If that happens, then you've got this weekly level, which we haven't really back tested, and we just have to see where the price finds support. I think this whole thing starts to become problematic when you start losing levels. I think the first level is that pivot there. We've broken that pivot. You don't really want to lose it now for a bullish impulsive continuation. I think if we lose that level, that brings into question the impulse, yeah, because this is quite impulsive. Maybe then we'll be looking at more of a corrective move rather than an impulsive move, because I think if you lose that, then we're going lower. Then this whole thing becomes a little bit more corrective rather than impulsive, yeah. And so naturally for impulsiveness, I'm looking for continuation. I don't really mind how long this takes, but I want to see the bullish momentum continue. I want to see continuation. I don't want to just see the price fall flat on the first attack, first resistance. You know, this is the first area of resistance after this impulsive move. If you fail here, then that's a bad sign, isn't it? That's like that's not healthy. So this is the question: do we fail here and we start pulling back, or do we consolidate underneath resistance, which is what's happening right now, form some kind of consolidation pattern here, and then have a breakup to head to higher? Okay, so at the moment we're just consolidating underneath resistance, kind of like what we were experiencing here, except the context is slightly different, because here, although this is quite bullish, we had a triple bottom, and we're looking to kind of come up here. The difference here is that we had a swing failure and we're into the point of control, okay, for the first time. Ever since that moment, after the price rejected, we went down to have a failed auction with a V-shaped recovery, followed by a higher low here and a rounding bottom to break out of this Adam and Eve pattern. Okay, so a very different context. Also, while the point of control was previously here, when we first attacked that level, the point of control has now moved to here, to this area here. That's where the point of control is now. Okay, so that's also quite a bullish idea, that the point of control moves to the lower part of the range. And if this Adam and Eve pattern is correct, then we have to test the neckline, and the neckline must hold. Okay, that's this SR flip. The neckline must hold, and I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the neckline to hold as support. If the neckline isn't tested, then it's been front run. Okay, that's basically what's happening. If you don't get a pullback to the neckline, then you're being front run. There's just so much buying here that the price is unable to come back to the neckline, because people are looking at this pattern and they're going, wow, this is a really bullish bottoming reversal pattern, and based on this pattern you're targeting higher prices, easily higher prices. How high, I don't know, probably all the way up to kind of 72 at the very least with this pattern. Okay, and this is potentially a good entry, because you have a low a small invalidation, and you have a quite a high risk to reward based on that small invalidation. We are into resistance, but honestly, it's just a golden pocket. There's nothing else really. This high volume node, which hasn't actually been tested yet. And then I think going up, we should probably go up to like 69k quite quickly after we take out these highs, which we haven't done yet, which is good. I didn't want the highs to be these highs to be taken just yet, and that's good. That's what you want to see. You want to see the highs not taken yet, because if we can go down now and squeeze up, we can squeeze the local high, and then hopefully we can squeeze those highs, back test this higher volume node for some kind of support and then head to higher. Okay, and that's, I think once we get past those highs, honestly, just looking at the way the price dropped here, I don't see any reason why we can't push up really quickly like that all the way up to there. Yeah, we obviously have resistance levels in the way, but the way the price moved like that through those levels could mean that we go through those levels without any resistance. Yeah, the way the price went down so fast could mean that we go up just as fast without the area there offering much resistance, and then we're into our major resistance, which is our daily level, monthly level. That will be a major take profit or hedge location for everyone. Yeah, and once we get into that daily level, that monthly level, you would want to protect your position if we do get up there and we complete this pattern. Okay, so right now I think the main thing that I'm mindful of is not losing this SR flip. If you lose this SR flip, then you'd have to wait to reclaim it before you long, or you're looking for lower. Yeah, now who knows how low it can go. I think down here would also work, because that would be a back test of the idea of this inverse head and shoulders. You could argue that the measured move is already completed, but we haven't had a back test, so potentially that will be the place to enter again. You would be, if that was to happen, I'm not fond of that idea, because I feel like you're going to a rounding bottom to what is that? What is that like a triangle, a circle, maybe a square? You know, is this kindergarten? Are we creating shapes? You know, like it doesn't appeal to me. Yeah, so while you could have a nice trade there, I don't know if that's going to be more than a scalp for continuation to the downside. Yeah, so I'm not contemplating that. I'm just saying that let's not lose this SR flip. That's what I'm saying. If we lose this SR flip and we can't reclaim it, then I'll probably take profit on my, or hedge or something on my position, which I have, just simply because I think this quick move up can be filled quite quickly. While I've got it coming down at an angle, the reality is if you lose that level, you're probably coming down just as fast like that. Yeah, that's why you have to be careful when the price moves up so quickly. If the price gets back down, you can also come down very quickly too. Yeah, so you have to be careful of that when that happens. So what am I saying? I'm just saying that we don't want to really lose that SR flip, and if we do lose it, just wait for a reclaim before you start longing. And probably the next long could be just a little local SFP here of this mini range that's being formed here, and that will probably be an easy long probably. When I'm looking at the order flow, I haven't looked at the order flow yet. Oh, I can see that there's some shorting going on. Yeah, I can see that there's a little bit of shorting happening here. Longing too, but I can see that there's a little bit of shorting. You can see that we're holding the VWAP as support, okay, but we're underneath the daily open, and so right now the price is trapped between the daily open and the VWAP. It looks like we might see a little bit of an indecision day today. It is possible. I can't see any kind of divergences. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, there are divergences. You can see it. You can see that here the CVD is higher and here the price is lower. So we are actually experiencing some kind of local bearish divergence here. Now, again, this might lead to what I'm suggesting, which is the price goes down, takes the liquidity from the lows, that's kind of where you want to see bullish divergence with a swing failure into that SR flip that I was talking about to ride this back up. So effectively a flat correction right here. That's kind of what I'm considering. And then we have to see what happens, right? And that's basically Bitcoin. Let's see if we can get a flat correction here. You could, maybe this is our wave 1 and this is our flat wave 2. Yeah, maybe this is what we're going to experience, a little bit of a sideways range here. That would be really nice. Consolidation underneath resistance, a flag of sorts, holding this SR flip as support. If I go back into XO charts, let me just have a look at some of this stuff quickly. Okay, so the single print's much lower down. So there's no natural single print support. It's quite lower, these single prints. And then we've got a session point of control at 63660. 63660, and then the single prints are 663190. It's quite lower, 63190. It's amazing because the price was moving up. It didn't create any gaps. No single prints in this move up. So maybe the price doesn't need to come down because you don't really have any gaps. So maybe a back test of that SFP into that low could be a good trade. But you don't have any single prints. That would have helped. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to tell what could happen. So just have that trade plan in mind, and then if it happens, you can take that trade maybe. Let me also just kind of look at the volume from these lows to now. Yeah, there's nothing here. The gaps are here. The gaps are here. So I don't think there's any gaps here. All right. So I'm just looking for a local long here, David, and see what happens. If we get a little SFP, that would be great. We're into resistance now, which is the golden pocket, but because we've cleared this previous pivot high, I think as long as that holds, then this is kind of, we'll be looking for bullish consolidation, for continuation. Consolidation above this previous high, underneath higher time frame resistance without taking liquidity. This potentially is bullish consolidation for continuation. If we get a back test on that neckline of this Adam and Eve, I mean, arguably the neckline is slightly lower. That's something to bear in mind. Okay, But I don't see any gaps until lower, much lower, and I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to see the price go that low, considering that if you look at this higher time frame candles, yeah. What are you seeing here? Well, on the daily time frame, I mean, you can't get more bullish than that, can you? It's like a bullish engulfing. You've cleared the price action over the last how many days, all the way through to from 25th of April to now. You've taken out all of the price action. This is extremely bullish. This candle is extremely bullish. Look at the 3-day candle. We're only halfway through the 3 days and we're already at the highs. Yeah, doesn't mean we're going up, but it doesn't look like we want to go down. It'd be very weird for the price to go down. If you look at the weekly candle, we're already above the previous week high. I mean, that's off the charts bullish, isn't it? Look, that's a bullish, weekly bullish engulfing candle after you had this dragonfly doji and the pullback, and now we have an explosive move. Of course, the week hasn't ended yet, so we don't know how this weekly candle is going to end. I guess what you don't want, like on the weekly time frame, as long as this weekly candle closes above the previous week high, which is basically that pivot that I'm talking about, then I think this is good for continuation. But I mean, just looking at it, we're on Thursday today. We may end up with a crazy bullish candle going all the way up to the highs. We may end up with one crazy bullish candle, and then what's this? This whole thing is going to look different, yeah. Because now we're right back into the highs again, yeah. After all of this downturn in 1 week, we're right back up to the highs. That's going to look really bullish. So we may, and then that will give a lot of space for a pullback for people to enter, because that's what you need when you want a continuation. You need people to have space to enter. Sorry about that. So yeah, so all right, let's see what happens. All right, let me just have a look at these other time frames as well. Look at that 2-day candle. This is a reversal pattern. That was a bullish reversal candle all the way down to the bottom, and now we've had a close right above this previous high. This whole thing is a bullish reversal in the making, and now what the price is doing is it's just consolidating, finding support. It looks like it's found support off that previous level. Maybe we don't go down to clear the liquidity. That's your entry, but maybe this was enough, you know, maybe this was enough. No one really knows. And you know, the only thing that I'm like thinking about now, I am wondering about whether we go down there to take that low, just simply because this is your higher low, this is your higher high, this actually is your lower low. I almost don't think we want to go and take that low. Maybe we want to actually just put in a higher low here. And so that's something. Maybe actually this would be better. We're already finding a reaction there already. So maybe actually we don't want to take out that low. Maybe we just want to hold that. We just want to now go up and take out the high. But the thing is, this is just on a 5-minute time frame. All right, let's just see what happens. I'm not 100%, David, so I'm not sure. While I think it would be good to take the liquidity, that would be a confirmation of 5-minute bearish market structure. Let's quickly have a look at SLERF again. Okay, that's interesting. So SLERF is often leading, and you see SLERF is it hasn't made a lower low yet. Oh, has it? No, not yet. At the moment it's a higher low. That's your lower low there. So I've got the key levels here. I actually think Bitcoin is showing, even though Bitcoin has put in a lower low here, it's actually a little bit more, it's showing a little bit more strength than SLERF. And because we know SLERF is leading, it kind of makes you think that we could be going down. Just to kind of to do this. Let me have a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is going up. All right, so a lot of people are interested in Bitcoin dominance, and this is my target. This little kind of EX marks the spot. I think once we get there, we're going to have a crazy alt season. That's when alt season begins. We're not far away from alt season. We're only 3.21% away from alt season. And potentially that could happen. It could begin in June. So I am wondering if by the end of this month we do get up to there, and in June we can begin alt season, which would be a rejection from that area of interest. I got an alert on ETH BTC yesterday, and I was looking for a swing failure here, and it didn't. There was no swing failure. So what you can see now, which is quite interesting, is that ETH BTC is bleeding like there's no tomorrow, literally giving up any gains that ever existed. What does that mean? Nothing really. It's the same as everywhere. It's the same as always. The price is just trying to find support. Yeah. And I think this kind of correlates to Bitcoin dominance going up, because effectively what's happening is that anyone who has ETH is selling it into Bitcoin right now, and that's kind of helping to push Bitcoin up, but at the same time it's at the expense of ETH. It doesn't mean that ETH doesn't go up. So this is what you have to understand. If Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up in terms of fiat value, okay? But in terms of BTC value, if we want Bitcoin to pump, we need everything to bleed into Bitcoin, and that's what's happening right now. So ETH has been losing levels, and you've got the volume levels, you've got higher time frames. Like literally ETH is losing everything. Have I deleted all my stuff? No, there it is. Okay, so And while on the higher time frame, I'm really bullish on ETH, like I'm really bullish on ETH. You can't ignore the fact that ETH is losing levels. Now, where is a good place to pick up ETH if anyone's interested? Where is this going to find support? I think this is going to coincide with Bitcoin dominance peaking, and maybe this is going to happen by the end of this month. And so just looking at it right now, if you just do a simple fib pool, look, we're losing this 382, right? We haven't had a swing failure of this previous low, so this is actually quite bearish. We haven't had a back test yet of this 382. Let me have a zoom in on the time frame. No back test. So we're getting a continued sell-off here, and this is just continuation of the downtrend. Okay, this is all bearish, and so naturally, because we've lost the 382, our next target is going to be the 50% mark, which is halfway of this range that we've formed, this multi-year range. So basically from the low here, from August 19 through to the high, which was put in at December 21. The 50% mark is here. That's naturally going to be your next support level as we head down. I can't really see any reason why we should find support anywhere from where we are now to that level, to be honest with you. I can't see any reason why we should find support. Nothing. There's nothing there that would give me that confidence that there might be some kind of arbitrary support level in between. That's probably going to coincide with Bitcoin dominance. There's potentially a little kind of like some kind of trend line here, but I'm thinking that we should really bottom out at the end of this month. From this pivot to this pivot, I don't like it. I like this one better. Let me just do something else. Okay, that's really interesting. So we do have quite strong confluence now. So we have this kind of lower range here. I've taken it from when we enter and leave this lower range, and the value area high coincides with the golden pocket from this pivot to the high. That coincides with the 50% area of this, from this pivot low to this high as a whole range. And there's also some kind of sloping downward trend line here. I'm not sure exactly where the pivot would be, because there's lots of little pivots here, and you know, I am thinking that we possibly should come into that area at the end of this month, by the end of this month. Like that. Find support to go up. That's what I'm thinking. And why to go up? I mean, it doesn't have to go up. Yeah. But why not? Why not go up? It depends on how quickly we come down as well. So ideally, you want this to come down very quickly as well. You don't really want... The problem with when the price comes down slowly is that you trap a lot of liquidity, which has to be untrapped. And so naturally what I would prefer is just like a quick drop. And then when we do find support, we can just go right back up really quickly. I'm thinking that that could possibly coincide with Bitcoin dominance pushing up to my area of interest too at the same time. That will probably lead to Bitcoin pumping, dare I say it. Yeah, I think if the liquidity is coming from ETH, then it doesn't it doesn't matter about new liquidity. Let the liquidity come from ETH. Who cares about new liquidity? No? Don't really care about new liquidity. Let the liquidity come from ETH, and let's pump Bitcoin. And then when BTCD tops out and ETH BTC finally bottoms out, then we can have alt season. Maybe what needs to happen is that Bitcoin needs to break the all-time high, get above and break the all-time. Maybe that's when we're going to see a little bit of influx of liquidity into the Bitcoin when the price is right back at the highs, because people like to buy the highs. That's what I've come to experience. Right, so yeah, just a kind of like a recap. I think this, as long as we hold that SR flip, we're good. There's no reason to close it. Close your longs. You should always take profit, but you may be thinking to yourself, I don't want to necessarily take profit because I want higher. In that case, you could potentially just wait to see if there is a breakdown and then take profit. You could do that. You wait. Otherwise, I think everything's looking good. The only thing that I'm not fond of right now is the way SLERF is looking a little bit droopy at the highs. I know that SLERF likes the lead, and it's still okay. Like, you know, when you're contemplating Bitcoin and SLERF is still okay. But SLERF, look, Bitcoin is going up and SLERF is going down. Okay, so if SLERF is leading, that could mean that Bitcoin wants to come back down, and this may lead, you know, at the moment SLERF is holding support. We're in this local value area low above this 236. What I would like to see is a little bit of volume coming into these lows now. Yeah, I'd like to see that point of control shift to the downside, to the low, sorry, not to the downside, to the low of the range. Bitcoin is looking quite bouncy. Again, if we take out that high, that's fine. It just means that this lower low becomes a higher low. I actually wouldn't mind seeing that. So what I'd like to see is take out that high and then go all the way down to swing failure this low. That would be quite nice to see. It'll be, we may not get that because you may be forming a flag as well. So just have to be aware of that. All right. Any questions on that? I've kind of gone into detail. I don't, you know, this is all speculative at the end of the day. TRVL had some really impressive buy-ups yesterday. That being said, you know, we found resistance into previous levels, previous daily levels. See that? There's a daily level there. Found resistance, and that's, you know, that's normal. And what's with that buy up, you know, you could almost argue that we've now tested that outer trend line again. Yeah. And so obviously that was all the way up to 5.5 was going to be some kind of resistance. We've created a new daily level here as of yesterday. So what we have right now, two already tapped daily levels and a fresh one at the same level. So with this price action, we are actually creating quite strong support, but in the same spirit, we're also potentially creating resistance as well. Yeah. So what's happening now is we are creating there's a tightening range forming here. Okay, you can clearly see that the daily levels are getting closer, and here the daily levels are getting closer. So I don't know how far this is going to go down, but you know, we could be in a situation where we form another daily level. You know, we could be forming some kind of tightening range here, and before we get some kind of movement with the price. No one really knows what's going to happen. I think the same as ever, for the price to go up, we need to break this trend line, this outer trend line. We've been in this kind of down move since we put in that high on the 26th of March. We need to break that trend line. Okay, we break that trend line, and if we can flip this fib into support, then we will probably push up quite quickly to 7.2, 7.6 cents. Okay, that's basically where we're at now. Nothing really else to add. Could the price go down? Of course it could. Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that it will only go up. Of course the price can always go down. It can go up, it can go down. And so naturally I've got this absolute outer lower trend line that I think in the context of what we're seeing should offer some good support. There is confluence with this lower daily level too, but you still have the same problem. If you lose levels, you see, this is the thing, you lose levels, they become resistance. So now if we were to suddenly go down, yeah, you find support, but then guess what, you're back into resistance. Okay, and what you really want to do is you want to break resistance and then find support for continuation. Yeah, that's what you want to do. I can't really say I mean, like, of course I'm bullish, and I think this is a really great opportunity to buy at discount prices, but you know, this is going to take a little bit of time to play out, and I think the best strategy, as I've always said, is continued scaling in, continued dollar cost averaging in, and eventually what will happen is the price will go up. Eventually what will happen, the price will go up. Why? Because, you know, we are in a Bitcoin bull market. Like, I think people forget that. I think maybe some people were in the bear market for too long and they don't realize there's a difference between a bull market and bear market. And as I've said before, I do think the price is coining up. Maybe I had a good idea, but maybe it didn't play out. Whether it was some kind of Adam and Eve, whether it was some kind of Wyckoff, I still think there was some kind of Wyckoff accumulation. Maybe the problem is that because I identified it, it changed, you know, and that's the problem you get with kind of telling people what is happening, that you can almost prejudice the idea because people see this and then and it actually changes what happens. I don't know. But what I am seeing is the downward momentum coming to an end. Yeah, so whether it's ended or not is speculative. We've got the 3 day, this is the 3 day averages. You've got the 50 average. Is that the 50? That's the 50. You see now the 50 average is clearly in the upward trajectory. The price is underneath the 50 average. You can see that the trend has changed or changing, okay? And the momentum has changed or changing. What's that one? That's a 200. So before I talked about the golden cross, and nothing's changed with regards to that. In fact, now is a really good opportunity to buy because you're basically buying above this 200 moving average underneath the 50, which is in an upward direction. That's the 3-day chart. If you look at the daily chart, look at where we are. We're at the 200 simple moving average. So you're basically right now, you're accumulating or buying at the average price for the last 200 days. I mean, you couldn't really ask for a fairer entry into TRVL, the 200 moving average. It's heading up. Of course, this 50 day is problematic because you can see it's heading down, okay? And so we have to see what happens. Do the bulls turn up? Because we don't want a death cross. We had a golden cross here, which was lovely, and since that golden cross, we had a really good price expansion. I'm not sure we want to see a death cross. I can't tell you if it's going to happen yet or not. If I go back 50 bars, yeah, we're starting to lose these high numbers now on the last 50 days. See the 50, the reason why it's kind of shaped, its trajectory is really steep to the downside, is because the last 50 days it was the highs. It was 51 days ago. Ali Fan, hello. Yeah. And now we're losing these high closes, and so it all depends now on the price closing now. So really what needs to happen is the price needs to start closing above the 50-day moving average, and then that will kind of slowly taper off. And as long as the price can hold above the 50 average, eventually what you'll see this go down and it will kind of roll back up. Yeah, as long as the price can stay up. Yeah, and actually you won't get a death cross. So we're not there yet. I mean, I don't want to say that there's going to be a death cross because we're really quite far away from it. But let's just assume the trajectory was to continue and the price was to stay where it was. You could possibly be seeing it by the end of the month. And so naturally what I'm thinking is the price needs to start getting up before the end of the month. And then hopefully then this could actually start to turn to go back up. And that's kind of what we want to see. We kind of want to avoid a death cross if possible. If we see a death cross, then we just have to accept it. And then we have to strategize for the next kind of plan, for the next plan. Again, I just think what's happening now is that higher time frame momentum is flattening out. And so while I hope that this was the change that would take us to the stratosphere, I didn't really want us to lose the 50 moving average, to be honest with you. I did say that in the past. We should really hold for this trend to start trending and trending and trending. You really need one of these higher time frame moving averages to support the price. The price just needs to bounce and bounce and just keep on holding for the momentum to shift, to continue going to the upside. Yeah, short of seeing that kind of experience, it's possible that what's happening is that this overall move was so down that we still needed to turn some higher time frame moving averages. So just looking at the weekly time frame, just messing around now. This is the 50-week moving average. You see it now, it's quite flat, and we're coming down potentially to test it. It's at about 41 cents, 4.1 cents at the moment. Now if we were to kind of put that to 100 weeks, what would that look like? See, we're at the 100 week now. You see that? So we're basically buying now at the 100, the last 100 weeks, you're buying at the average last 100 weeks. It's a really fair price for most people. And if you take that up to the 120 weeks, yeah, look at the price, look at the moving average. You see, it's actually still quite down. The momentum is still quite down. You see that? And this is the problem. This is something that people don't necessarily contemplate, is that you can't ignore momentum. So this is now look at this. What is this? This is the 125 week moving average, and look, it looks like the price has just come in to find resistance and it's come off it. Yeah, so you might not be able to see it, but because we've been in a downtrend, you've got these higher time frame moving averages that may be invisible because people aren't looking at them, and we still need to turn that trend. And so this price action is actually healthy. Go up, go up. We're trying to change the trend, and what you want to see now is to start changing the trend, start making higher highs, higher lows. So we're not there yet, and so actually we're looking to change the trend. We're not there yet. The minute we put in a higher high on the weekly, we could put in a higher low, and we could start changing the trend to the upside. And so we still have, for a lot of people who haven't entered, it's still a really good opportunity to come in at really good prices. And what I'm seeing is the potential of an off the charts explosion, an explosion that's going to really shake people because they won't realize, they won't expect it. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. You often get it with these tokens that are off the radar. They've just been building in the bear market. They've got the product now, it's all working, and they're building their network. They're starting to form partnerships. They're still off the radar, and eventually what happens is you get the whole of crypto get behind these projects, and then you suddenly see extremely high prices very quickly, mainly because what happens is that suddenly everyone starts buying at exactly the same time. You get that during alt season where everyone is just buying. Yeah, now hopefully we'll see 2 alt seasons again, and maybe we're going to see one quite soon, and then the next one probably will happen sometime in the spring next year, similar to before. I wouldn't be looking for anything too different from before. I just think this is quite a good accumulation zone, and if people, you don't need to go all in, you can just dollar cost averaging, and this is what we're doing. We're all dollar cost averaging in, building our portfolios, building our positions. You do it when the price pulls back, and whereas before we were in a bear market, it was hard to do because the price just kept on dropping. Now it's a lot easier to do because now we're in the bull market. So this is the pullback for continuation. That's what we're all kind of on track for. And as you can see, this weekly 125 weekly moving average, I mean, I can change that number if you want. Let's see how far we can go. 129. Look, 129. I think it's just like like a downward. That has to change. We have to change this, and the way to change this is going up, because now then you have higher closes, and then the average, these moving averages now then they start to turn. Okay, but if you look for the last 129 weeks, the average price was actually higher than where we are now. You're getting cheaper than the average price for the last 129 weeks. The average price was thereabouts 8 cents. You're getting it cheaper in the last 129 weeks. It's a really good place to accumulate. Okay, so that's basically TRVL. It was really interesting because on the Dtravel page, there's been this kind of ongoing conversation. Let me have a look at it. this guy, he basically what happened was that he's a super host, and Dtravel, not Dtravel, God, what am I talking about? He's a super host, and Airbnb shut his account down. Yeah, look, 4.95 reviews, shut his account down. Airbnb is an evil monopoly. let's don't ever think differently. Yeah, and they have control of the whole market. They have a lot of money. They have a really large network, and this is their behavior. This guy has been a super host for multiple years. And he was discriminated for his tweets on his tweets, basically. Airbnb threw me out of their community and cancelled all of my future guests because they deemed me as racist based on my account here on X. I even had a guest coming this weekend. I feel terrible that all these people have to find new lodgings last minute because they want to be a woke company. I was a super host. I had 200 plus reviews and had amazing reviews from people of all ethnicities. Never once did I discriminate against any guest. They say because of my rants about Black American females, I was discriminating. On the contrary, all I did was to have to manually approve guests to make sure they are throwing parties. I rented my villas to African Americans and all the ethnicities. They didn't care about my non-discrimination, but rather Jamal and Timmy and Daisy, who handled my case, removed me. They cancelled future guests who have to scurry to find last-minute accommodations. Work. Airbnb is a company that has lost its way. They never bothered to look at the facts of the case. They also never bothered to connect that those listings are run through AB LLC, not directly correlated with me in this account. See that so his business is also an LLC, it's a company. So technically that means that it's got nothing to do with him. Yeah, he's a shareholder of a company, but the company is a different person. They said they picture matches and must be me. So anyway, the gist is this: Dtravel is ready to take the crown. Well, not really. Dtravel is not ready to take the crown. Dtravel is ready to pounce. Okay, and this is the beginning and not the end. I've experienced this for a long time. This kind of Airbnb behavior. The best way to deal with Airbnb is to keep your head under the radar and try and hope that they don't come after you. Yeah, because when they do, there's literally nothing that can be done. I think Dtravel is the future, and I think Dtravel has the potential to become the future decentralized Airbnb, but much more. And I think if anyone is getting involved now, I hope that you get involved, because hopefully in the future we can have a conversation, you and me, whoever's listening to me, and we can all celebrate. We can all celebrate when TRVL is trading at 20 whatever dollars or whatever. Can you imagine the amount of parties I'll be invited to? I can't wait. So definitely continue picking up TRVL. Don't fade on this token, and let's see how far we take this. It's a movement that we're building effectively. Yeah, looking at the monthly time frame, and we've come back all the way to fill this monthly candle. I mean, I don't know 100%, but you'd like to think that if it holds here, that it would go up. You'd like to think that. Fill this monthly. This is the monthly expansion candle. There's no real gaps in the rest of these candles. There's probably some gaps down here, but on the monthly time frame, a lot of the gaps have been filled. It's hard to see gaps, but when you look at these wicks and you see how they're filling before they go up, this came down and filled the gap. All the gaps have really been filled. The only gaps that I can see are probably here and probably there's probably a little gap there as well. There's some gaps much lower down. Whereas if you look at the way the wicks have come down, they've basically cleared up all the gaps. If anything, there's gaps to the upside. Yeah, there's definitely gaps here as the price came down. And as you go up, actually the wick cleared most of those gaps. There's gaps all the way up the top there. There's lots of gaps here. All the way up to the top, there's gaps. That wick cleared most of the gaps. There's a little bit of a gap here. There's some gaps there. Otherwise, most of the gaps have been cleared. Okay, so the only gaps that I can see are some there, here, up there, and there's a couple down here. I'm not foreseeing the price to come down to 2.7 cents. So possibly those gaps will always remain in the market. All right, and let's just see what happens. Do we get does the price come all the way to the golden pocket? I think if it did, that would be like a gift. Honestly, that would be a gift. And it's hard to know if and when that will happen. It's hard to know. That would really require people to sell their TRVL, and because the price can only go down with market selling. I don't know, can't tell. When you're looking at the TRVL Bitcoin chart, I haven't looked at it in a while. What's really annoying is that I can't see the ETH chart anymore. For some reason, it's been removed. So it's really quite frustrating. But when you look at the Bitcoin chart, again, we have to see what happens here. I do feel like it's possible that we're going to test the lows one more time. I don't know how that's going to form. You see, we've already lost the value area low. Okay. So that's telling me that all eyes are on Bitcoin. Yeah. Right now, all attention is on Bitcoin. Doesn't mean that you should sell. These are the opportunities for buying. Yeah. So whereas in the past, I would say that the point of control was a good place to buy. Right now, you see we're losing the value area low. If people are looking for safety and they don't want to rush into this and they just want to feel safe, then the best way to do this would be to either let the price get back into the value area low above the point of control. If you see that, then that will be safe. You're buying in higher, but that will be safe because you're buying into strength. Otherwise, you know, take the low. Yeah, take the low, get back above the low. The problem with taking the low is you're putting in a lower low and the price could find resistance for continuation. And so if you don't take the low, then it's a higher low, but we won't know if we take the low or not. If we go to the low, whether we take it or not. If the price forms a higher low, it'd be hard to take that because you would be at that getting so close to low, you would be expecting to take it. Excuse me. So it would still be easier to wait for the price to come back into the value area. It would still be easier to do that. Excuse me. I really want us to see us, you know, like I'm just looking at the Bitcoin chart. We put in a golden cross here. We're looking to put in a death cross here. Yeah. I'm not crazy fond about that, to be honest with you. So, and it's a tricky one. On the 3-day chart, we still, you know, we weren't able to put in a golden. So clearly what you can see is that on the Bitcoin chart, the downtrend there's still a downtrend, and we still haven't been able to turn it. Whereas with against USDT, we're turning it. Against Bitcoin, we haven't been able to. And possibly that's because Bitcoin is strong, you know, Bitcoin is strong, USD is weak. And so naturally against Bitcoin there's a harder work to be done. But I think eventually we will, you know, I think ETH has been weak. And so naturally, when people are contemplating alt season, they're looking at ETH. And when you see ETH falling like there's no tomorrow, then, you know, the rest of altcoins react. And when you see Bitcoin dominance going up like there's going to the moon, effectively, look at that. It's heading to the moon. Not really, it's going into my area of resistance. And then naturally that's going to have a negative impact on the rest of the Bitcoin pairs. Yeah, so it's not the market, it's just the pairs. Look at all the pairs when you compare them to Bitcoin, the ones that I have on my list at least, you can see that they're quite weak. Solana is, like, honestly, Solana is the strongest one. You can't really complain. So I think in all cases, everyone should have a little bit of Solana because that's your hedge. Look, Solana is so robust. It just keeps on bouncing back. Every time there's a dip, Solana just bounces back. But every other kind of BTC pair that I'm looking at has also been bleeding like there's no tomorrow. I think, as I said before, I think in the scheme of things, TRVL seems to be quite strong, but none of these tokens have withstanded the impact of Bitcoin being strong. Yeah, see, like even DOT, I'm quite bullish on DOT. DOT is even struggling against Bitcoin. FLR, look, even FLR is showing weakness. Yeah, and in the whole multi-year consolidation range, it's been quite flat. Yeah, so GRT is quite strong, but in the context of everything, it's still relatively weak. Actually, GRT is looking quite strong against Bitcoin right now. It's gone flat and it's looking quite strong. Litecoin, again, look at that weakness. Can't get it back. You can't reclaim levels. You're losing levels. It's weakness. And so I wouldn't like go, oh my god, what's happening? TRVL, we're going to zero, all that kind of jargon. I think what's happening now is that we've had a multi-year downtrend and we have to fix that. We're trying to fix that. Okay, so getting back into the value area low would be, if people are just hesitating and they're waiting, well then just wait. That's fine. Just wait for the price to get back into the value area low, and then, you know, I'll welcome your pump. There's also an outer trend line here that you can't ignore, and now that it's formed, it's a lot easier to see. Like, it's hard to see these trend lines when they're not formed. Do you take this first pivot? I usually like to take the outer pivots, to be honest with you, the outer, just the kind of the final line. And so naturally, this is the weekly time frame. Naturally, what I'm thinking is, whatever happens, we have to break that line, flip it into support for continuation. Whatever happens, that's going to be the next kind of signal for us to know that TRVL wants to really start to push to higher prices. Yeah. And so in the meantime, we're looking at consolidation, accumulation. We're still looking at that kind of behavior. I'm just having a look at SLERF just to see what's happening. Nothing much. We're getting a little bit of a pullback. Okay, so not unexpected. We've kind of lost the value area low. We're underneath the key level now. That's a lower low. Okay, so this is what I was worried about, and that's happened. This is a lower low. So when it comes to market structure change, you need a lower low, and then you need the lower high, and then you need another lower low. Okay, so right now we're not doing the lower high or another lower low, we're just doing a lower low. So right now we're just putting in a lower low. This is a lower low, and until we see a lower high, we won't know what happens next. So it is looking a little bit kind of, I wouldn't say weak is the right word. Okay, it's not, I wouldn't say weak. It's just a pullback. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a pullback. And this is like, if people are looking to buy into this move, this is the pullback. This is what you're looking to do. You're looking to buy into this move, yeah. And so if people are looking at this move and they're feeling bullish, then they're looking to buy the pullback. And so this is it. Okay. And what I'm thinking about is a little bit lower, but I would like to see it in one move. I don't want to see us now. Yeah, I don't necessarily want to see us to go up, to put in a lower high to continue down. I think that would be much more bearish than if we just go down now and do this down and down and then up. I think this would be a little bit more bullish in the context of what I'm seeing right now. Usually SLERF leads Bitcoin. So when I'm looking at Bitcoin, I'll look at that. Okay, look at that. Swing failure. Of course. Like that's not bullish at all. That's you could almost short Bitcoin. I wouldn't short Bitcoin because it's in the range. Actually, in one sense, that's a good thing. Yeah, let me explain why. And it's basically what I explained to you before. Bitcoin did put in a lower low here, and now it's gone and put in a higher high. You see that? So I had that idea in mind already. You see that? And so naturally, that's a good thing because it means our higher low is here now, not where it was before. This is our higher high, and we haven't changed market structure to bearish. We're in bullish market structure. The only thing that's concerning now is that SLERF has just put in a lower low, okay, and obviously that's a little bit concerning. Let's see what happens, because maybe SLERF is just going to go down into my area of interest, put in a lower low, that's fine, and then maybe we're going to go up and start attacking the highs again. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm interested, where I'm interested. I'm in a hedge short, not fully hedged. Maybe I should have been, but I will be looking to probably take profit. But I don't like catching these falling knives. You can see that there's a bit of selling going on here. People are panicking, they're selling. So that's normal, you know. Price goes down, people sell. Price goes up, people buy. They don't do the opposite, but actually you don't necessarily want to buy. You want to wait. You want to wait for the price to find support. Yeah. So while it's tempting to go, oh my god, the price is going down, I need to buy, what would be better is let the price find support. Yeah. Right now we've put in a lower low. Let the price make the lower low. Then let the price come up. And if you want to sell, then you can sell the lower high. Yeah. Or you can buy the lower low and sell the lower high, but the price could also potentially go up, reclaim levels and go right back up. And actually this is the low, this is the higher low that we're putting in now. So I did think, you know, I did think it's possible on the 4-hour time frame that we come down, and now we're looking to put in some kind of higher low on SLERF. That's what I'm imagining. I'm imagining a higher low on SLERF. Have a look at the 4-hour candles. So the next 4-hour candle is going to close in the next 3 hours and 22 minutes. 2 hours and whatever. 2 hours and 22 minutes. Wait, what is it now? It's 1:38. It's going to be at 5. So it's 3 hours and 22 minutes. Let's wait for this candle to close. Let's see where it closed. Let's see what it looks like. I hope that we hold this level here. I really do. Yeah, I can't tell. Maybe we will, because if you look at the 4-hour 50 moving average, it's kind of roughly in the same area. I don't usually look at the moving averages because I don't trade them, but I do look at them for momentum, and I can see now that on the most part, on the local time frames, the momentum's relatively flat. And what's good is that the very low time frame momentum is now up, you know, it's bullish. So you'd expect the lower time frame momentum to carry us a little bit. You see here on the 30-minute time frame, the 50 moving average is to the upward direction. That's the momentum. So you've got a bit of you know, the 4-hour 50 is flattening out. Now I use the 50, but anyone can, you can use any real, you can use any moving average. You can use the EMA as well. It's not a big deal. So let's see how this plays out. I'm not like panicked yet. But you know, this is crypto. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. All right. If there's nothing else, I'm probably gonna end my stream and go and have some lunch. Do I want to look at some other coins? That's the question. Possibly, yeah. Possibly I might be looking to look at some other coins. If I'm going to look at some other coins, I'm going to go away and I'm going to come back after lunch. Okay. So, damn, I would have loved to have taken that short, to be honest with you. That one there. I should have put an alert. There's quite high volume in that candle. So let me just have a look at the volume. Look at that. Oh, wow. Shorts opening, longs closing. That's what that was. This is shorts opening. There's quite a large. Oh, it's a big short that's open. It's 4.8 million. Increasing OI. Oh, look. 1.1 million. And his positions at the moment underwater. Wow, that's some really nice bullish divergence is forming now. You've got lower CVD, so that's been absorbed. Those sell orders have been absorbed. So we've got really nice bullish divergence forming right now. As long as we don't put in a lower low here, then this is really nice. Let me copy that, and I'm going to just paste that on my my Twitter right now. Yeah. Bullish CVD forming. Let's have a look at SLERF. Okay, coming back into my area of interest, my neckline. So let's just hold that. That's kind of what you want to see. You want to see the, on SLERF, you want to see the neckline hold. Okay, so we're having a little bit of a a shakeout. Okay, but that's fine. Let's just see where the price finds support. All right, so that's my analysis for today, and maybe I'll come back later and stream. That might be better than continue this stream. So hope you guys have a good day. Bays, Gary, I don't know if you're still here. David, I know you're listening, but you don't say anything these days. Alnan, I don't know what your name is. Right, I'm probably gonna end the stream, and then maybe I'll come back later. All right.